All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the call, everybody. I'm so excited all of you guys made it here. My name is Tim Damron. I'm with the House of Yah Community Outreach, and we've got a fantastic show for tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about things that people call private, but we're going to analyze them. Natasha and I and the rest of us, we're all here on the crew here. So if you guys want to jump in and you guys got comments, you got something you want to say about it, you know what? This is your place. And if you don't say anything about it, and if you don't ask questions, well, your opportunity is gone. So you'll just have to listen to the recording. And those of you guys that are catching the recording right now, man, I am so glad you guys are here. Thank you for listening. Please like and share, everyone. And before we get started, I want to introduce the lovely Natasha Jordan. Welcome to the call, Natasha.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. It's nice to see everybody. Yep. I'd just like to welcome everybody. Today is Monday, October the 27th, 2025. But before we get started, I'd like to just do a small little disclaimer that we're not here to promote drugs, alcohol. We're not lawyers. We do not give legal advice. We just give advice as far as what we've done on any of the processes or anything. We're not here to hurt anybody's feelings by all means, but we do ask, like Tim said, if you have any questions, put them down in the chat and we'll try to answer them to the best of our ability.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely, yes.
Well, hold on a second. I got a little housekeeping issue I need to take care of first. So we had, I don't know, towards the end of September, right before all the feast days happened, we had a bunch of technical problems. We had a lot of issues with the internet and a bunch of silly stuff. And I mean, we just couldn't stay on the call. I mean, it was just that bad. And one of our students kind of fell between the cracks. And I caught it. Actually, Christine caught it and sent me a note on it. And I said, holy cow. So here's what we did. Because he did pay for a class. He absolutely did. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give him all the classes. That's right. We're going to start him over from zero. And I just sent him an email about this too. And Natasha, I put your name on it too. So anyway, I figured as a gift, it was my bad. It just got crazy. Lots of stuff happened around September 19th. And, it's still no excuse. I mean, it just still happened. And so I just wanted to get that little housekeeping thing out of the way. This is what we do here. If I make a mistake, I'm going to own it, and I'll own every bit of it. I promise you. If I give misinformation, and I have once, well, not very often, but I mean, I kind of did, but we found ways to make it better. And I don't think it was really misinformation. It wasn't misinformation. It just wasn't clear enough. And, we sat down, we put it in our think tank, and we just made it clear. And so I'm not afraid to do that stuff either. But tonight we're going to be talking about some of the opposition. And what is the opposition? I mean, what is our opposition out there, Natasha? Shawn, what do you guys think our opposition is? In the movement, in this movement, what do you guys think it is? Either one of you.
Experience and education, just, not knowing what to do, where to go, what to see.
I think people get overwhelmed with a lot of stuff sometimes, and that's where they end up at. Absolutely. What do you think, Natasha?
Well, I think kind of what you started with in the beginning, there's a lot of information out there and people want the information, but there's a lot of people that doesn't correlate it correctly and they're just kind of flying by the seat of their pants more or less. And most people don't understand how to be private and what's public, equity. There's a lot of things that have been misconstrued. And that's what I really like about this here. You get to the point and you explain it to us like, no, they're saying this, but that's not how it works. This is how it works, and you take the time and you explain it to us. And, so far, like you said, what 90% of your students and stuff are successful in everything that they do and try, and try.
Exactly. And the other 10%, we didn't forget about you either, man. You guys need help. My time, you can schedule time with me anytime you want, and it's completely free. I don't charge for it. I mean, I know like some of these other people, these gurus that are out there, they charge to talk on the phone, and maybe it's because they're out offering free lunches and, this is free and this is free and this is free and you're exempt from this and this and this and this and this. Maybe it's the special line that attracts them. You know what I mean? That line that says, I'm special. And I think people need to feel special. I mean, I'm in a, you know what I mean? But I think it's rooted in like some sort of deep insecurity. So maybe psychologically, bad childhood, not enough Oreos. I don't know, something. What do you think? I mean, it's true.
Yeah. Well, you know, and knowing that you're special and knowing that, you know, to me is knowing that you are should be enough. You know, you
Well,
don't need validation.
but there's a difference between being special and special ed. Mm. A very big difference. If you need a name tag that says what your status is, you really need to go check your mail. I'm just going to say, I mean, if you need public recognition to say that you're private, there's a word that comes to mind: duplicious. Duplicious. That means you're not making any sense. See? Like when people take their feelings over facts. Oh, I feel this way. And those are important. They're totally important. I think you need to feel special. But a lot of people are waking up in this movement, and there's a lot of people that are running. And I think that those are identifiers that we need to locate. You know, there are people in this country that don't like our country very much. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of people in this country and in this movement that don't they don't support what our government does completely. And you know, I don't either. But I think it's all about your response to it, you know? I mean, if your response is rebellion, I'm going to go do whatever. I'm going to what is it, the Tanawa Downing thing that's going on? You know, that's I call it the honeypot tour. You know, because they got Tanawa up there, which nobody can pronounce his name. It doesn't even make sense. How do you even come up with a name like that? I mean, no disrespect, but I mean, I'm just saying it's an unusual name. Okay, it's not marketable. But Jessica Saxton, and now the honeypot tour is alive. And these people are literally traveling the country, and they're on vacation on somebody else's nickel, and then they show up in townships. And I think the intent is to piss people off. Sorry to be frank, but I think it is. You know, have you guys seen those? Y'all seen those public meetings that they're doing? Have you seen any of that? Yeah, it's a big thing right now, and they're showing up. This is not telling. I'm not promoting. It's the "We Shall Be Free" tour, and it's really they're more like "We Shall Be Free from Going to Work" tour is what it looks like to me, because these guys made a job out of traveling the country and pissing off people on YouTube or TikTok, because they go into these how you say, the commissioner court meetings, and they say, I'm a Washington D.C. litigator, and I've Googled his name, I've searched him all over the place, and neither one of those two have litigated anything in Washington D.C. officially. Now, maybe they stood on a corner and threw some toilet paper and some streamers up in the air and said, woohoo. I mean, but I'm going to say that there's nothing really official there. So when you see people doing stuff like this, we need to really be careful. I mean, it's easy to get caught into the moment of, you know what, we really do need change. They really do. And that's what they're tapping into. But here's what they're avoiding: the process to fix it. That's what they're avoiding. And it usually comes with accountability. That's kind of what I'm seeing in a lot of this stuff, in a lot of these movements. And, you know, it's been a few years since I've talked about this group, but this is a group that's supposed to be private. I'm actually going to include it. I'm going to pop it up on the screen here so you guys can see it. And this is a group that alleges to be private. Okay. And this is a group that I personally know. We've had talks with these people. You guys can see who this is now. Look at this.
Good old Kenny.
I'm telling you, the dude is famous now. Look at this. Now, wait a minute. These are a bunch of people. I'll just be nice. These are a bunch of people, ugh, barely, and these people, these people think they're private. I mean, if you can Google them, this is not private. And those of you guys that are on TikTok and in Facebook link, I'm sorry, not TikTok. Those of you guys on YouTube and Facebook, you guys can't see this, but if you want to, come on into the call if you guys want to. It's meetings.dialpad.com/Monday night. Come on in, meetings.dialpad.com/Monday night. Come on in and you guys can read this with us. And this is like some real stuff. I mean, these guys started what, about 6 years ago, Shawn? 6, 7 years ago, right?
Right.
And we're private. And we're going to operate in the private. This doesn't look very private to me. Natasha, what do you think? Did you know all this was out?
No. Well, I mean, like if you can Google, I mean, you're making very valid points. If you can Google them, they're not very private. It's not much arguing on it. So, with all that though, with your classes, you teach us to be private. So maybe some people are kind of confused on that. So,
It's really, this is where these guys have really gotten it wrong, and I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment. What do I talk about when I say operating in the private? That means people see you, but they don't care. What do you mean people see you and they don't care? Think of the person that checked out your groceries last, huh? Think of the person that when your internet went out, what was their name? You spent 2 hours on the phone with them. You know you did. Or how about that guy with the credit card? What was his name? You know that one where you're trying to fix that error that happened like back in 92? You're trying to fix it now in your current statement, and you spent like 4 years on the phone with the person, right? I mean, I'm blowing it out of proportion, but really, we don't remember those people's names, and you don't care. That's operating in the private. And that's what these cuckoo birds are not getting, because this is part of we need a name tag. Kind of like, I think when they watched when they were watching The Wizard of Oz, I think they were all in. I think they were eating popcorn and they had the whole thing and the death certificate. They were just all really like all in, taking it in word for word for word and missing what was right there in front of them. So let's read what it says here. It says American state national can refer to a U.S. national, someone who owes allegiance to the U.S. but not a citizen. Well, that makes no sense in itself. Why would you owe allegiance to a place that you're not a citizen to? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I don't get it. But okay. And it says, but the latter is a fringe movement that is not supported by U.S. law. Whoa. So none of this movement is supported by U.S. law. That means we made it up completely, Kenny. U.S. nationals include people born in places like American, Somalia, and have certain, I'm sorry, I didn't say that right. What is that? Samoa? And may have, yeah, Samoa, and may have certain rights, like the right to live in the U.S., but not the right to vote. The term state national is also a legally recognized status in the U.S. Code, but it's not the same as the sovereign citizen movement, which claims that claims that the origin of the original states are sovereign and that their citizens are separate from the federal movement. Okay. So basically, the sovereign citizens believe they were all still living in teepees and tents somewhere, and we just want to go back to doing that. That's what it seems like to me. What do you guys think? Right? Like a regression kind of thing going on here.
yeah,
Right? I think it's so. I mean, this is stuff that like nobody reads because we don't have time because we're busy making a living or something. But let's just do it because we do have time tonight because we're all off work tonight. Anyway, U.S. national is a person who is not a citizen of the U.S. but owes a permanent allegiance to the U.S. That means if you owe a permanent allegiance to the U.S., that means you have to obey the laws. That means if they say walk right, you got to walk right. I don't see that in the American National Movement, Rocks band, whatever they are. I don't know. Anyway, what? And it says they have a right to enter and reside in the United States without a visa, but they can't vote or serve on a jury. That's what a U.S. national basically is. It's a person who is not a citizen of the U.S. Okay, the sovereign citizen movement is a fringe movement that believes that the U.S. government is illegitimate and the laws are not binding. Why do you guys think that's the case?
Why would they not be binding though?
Well, because they think that they're created, because they think that the straw man is a conversion, and they think like it's a fraud. So we're living in this real over here, but this living fiction thingy is out running around all over the place doing stuff, and apparently they're in complete control, according to this, because
Mm.
they're telling us we need to change our status to this. Didn't President Trump just put a thing about this out that said, hey, if you guys want to get on a plane, you guys can just go do it now. And if you don't, we're going to put you in jail. I think those people fell into that. Really? Did you hear about that the other day? Well, I know you were always at work, but did you hear about that? President Trump put it out there. Says he's not having it. And with this whole drug war thing, boy, y'all thought Ronald Reagan was bad. Due process, forget it. He just said we're going to kill them, all of them. Dang it. You might want to be on this side, guys. You may not want to grab that citizenship and throw it in the trash. I'm saying it's the final countdown. You know, he just signed a peace treaty in Gaza too. And they're gonna break it.
They're gonna break it.
Oh, hey, and if they do, that's when the 7 years starts, baby. And he's already done the 3.5 years of prosperity. So now he can all go throw it in the trash now. And we already know how this book plays out, if we're paying attention. Oh my goodness gracious. I said, don't call me tonight. Call me in the middle of the call. Anyway, but look at this heavy stuff, you guys. So, so it seems to me like this sovereign movement, when I was exposed to the state nationals, because, you know, if you guys remember, they actually came over, took some classes, and wanted to learn how we do what we do. And did I tell them? So they got some completely bogus information, and all kinds of people got in trouble. Kenny got put on a government watch list, which, I mean, look at this. I mean, I'm not surprised. But I heard he was out of the country, and recently someone said he did a show with somebody on Luke somewhere. I don't know, some Luke guy. What, you guys remember his name? Anybody remember that guy's name? What was his name? Some Luke show or something. I don't remember what his name was. Anyway, welcome to the call, everybody. Linda, welcome to the call. Trisha, welcome to the call. My goodness, it's been a lot of years. I hope you're doing well. Hope your family is doing well. Thank you for joining in. Anyway, so let's keep talking about this movement here. So we have a movement of people that are in this country. And let me tell you, I don't think they got there by accident, Natasha. I think these people just woke up. I think these people have just been corrupted, to tell you the truth, and misled.
Yeah, I know whenever I started waking up and realizing with the straw man and all kind of, I did get a little angry and I kind of wanted to be like, how can I get them back kind of thing, and that's, I looked at the Anna Von Wright and, David Straight, different things like that. But the things that, like with the sovereign citizen is in my head, it didn't make sense. So I'm a citizen, I have to give something up, but then you're telling me I can still stay here. Well, that doesn't, it doesn't work. Like you said, it, it's an oxymoron, you know. But for the people though that are waking up, that I would like for them, to get with you, and you can explain to them about not becoming the state national. Keep your US citizenship, that way, and take the classes, and they'll learn, instead of being mad, then learn how to take it away and control it yourself and go into the private, instead of trying to do all this nonsense.
Mhm. Learn the system that's around you rather than trying to reinvent the wheel. And I think that really sums it up. And I think that's what these guys are doing. Look at this. American
Yeah.
State Nationals, the newest group of sovereign citizens. This is not private. This is a public label. So now you have, and I'll tell you, my conversation initially with Kenny Plaster is that he says, why don't you stop all this teaching and let's just go tear this whole thing down? I looked at him like he was crazy, because he is. That's crazy talk. I mean, and that's what he said to me. And so he's got like this, I don't know, kind of a don't drink the Kool-Aid kind of thing around him. You know what I mean? It kind of scares me a little bit. I mean, look at this that's up there. Let's see what that has to say here. Excuse me. It says sovereign citizens are individuals who, despite being legal citizens of their respective communities, deny the legitimacy of their governments. See, I think that's a core weakness right there. Because if you recognize the legitimacy of the government, you recognize the legitimacy to enforce. Because the roads that they have open where they're coming after you, and we talked about this last week. We talked about 4D funding and why they do it. See, that's understanding it. And I think that's what we're missing. Like what Shawn was saying earlier, education. We weren't taught this stuff. Nobody did. And our grandparents, actually, I was having a conversation with someone, and we were talking about this, and we kind of figure this probably happened about when our grandparents were born. And our grandparents were born, mine too, born in the early 1900s, late 1800s. So given our grandparents being born between then and there, that's when this whole thing, I think, really shifted. And this, free man stuff, I disagree. And here's why I disagree, Natasha. So if we go back to the Bible, okay, because a lot of these people, they believe that they read the Bible too. And I'm going to tell you that I believe that they don't. And here's why. Education. They're not understanding it. They're not understanding what they're reading. See, trying to think where I was going with that. But what I'm saying is that in our word, it shows us where we are as a people. And because of our ancestors' disobedience, because we refused to follow the law, we refused to follow Torah, we refused to honor Shabbat, we refused all of those commandments and a covenant with Yahweh. And we got consumed with idolatry. Look at all the stuff we have everywhere. Huh? Look they got shows on A&E about people with too much stuff. Millions of dollars of stuff just inconveniently packaged in the wrong house with cat poop or something. It's just always gross. But Yahweh said it's in the word, and he says, I'm going to scatter you people. So what does that say about the people that are waking up? You have a purpose, and there's a reason you're waking up. And you're not waking up because these guys got the band back together and said, okay, we rock now. That's not why. I don't think so. And then, I mean, if we look at Anna Von Wright, she's no better. What success stories does she have? How many federal lawsuits has she filed? And I'm going to tell you none. State nationals rock. How many federal lawsuits have these guys filed and won? None. And these guys really claim that they have the answers. These people are telling people in this country that there's something wrong with your status. I think that's, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I think that's just crazy. That's like some kind of different kind of warfare.
Well, I think people wake up and they find out that they're under an evil government and they're just looking for a way out. And when you got gurus out there telling them, well, if you just change your status, you can get out from underneath this government.
Hmm.
And that's what they go for.
I'm seeing it. No, I agree. And well, and a lot of times you're dealing with folks that have, kind of burned their bridges or maybe made some mistakes. And you know what? They probably didn't mean to. Just to be real honest, they probably didn't mean to. But they made some mistakes. Let me close this up here. Right. I think I did close it. Okay.
And when push comes to shove and they end up in court over something, a speeding ticket or whatever it may be, they just don't know how to stand up against judges that, use corrupt rulings to persuade them back underneath contract.
Well, and here's the thing is that they believe that everybody's fair and square. And that if you walk in there and you say the right thing, everybody's going to drop to the floor and start repenting and say, oh, he got me. Okay, he got me now. All right, all right. Hey, Johnny, don't put him in jail for 20 years anymore. Never mind. He figured it out. He told us. He knows the special code. He got it from Chris Hauser. Just kidding. Anyway, and he got it from David Straight and the rest of the Cuckoo Bird Club. And you know what? And now that he said that special little spell, now we're all going to get on our knees and kiss his butt now because he's so special. This is the grandiose mentality that these people really think. Some of them really, and I'm not going to say these. I'm going to say a lot of these people really think this. And it's because they want the truth, like you said. They're really looking for the truth. And I don't think they can get it that way. Truth is found through wisdom. In Proverbs, it says to buy the truth and don't sell it. Don't do anything. Wisdom. Humility is the beginning of wisdom. So if we know these things, these are how you get there. But what about all these rich people that are out there, with big haughty behaviors, like that trumpet guy? We'll just say that. Like that trumpet guy, I mean, he's pretty arrogant, he's grabbing crotches, making friends. He's doing all kinds of stuff, right? I'm just saying, and now he's making peace treaties. I love it. And now he's throwing people in jail for the whole shot thing when he actually told everybody to do the shot thing. And then he said he did the shot thing. And then everybody did the shot thing. And now Fauci's the bad guy now. I'm just saying this is the switch hitter that we have that's doing this stuff, that trumpet guy. And let me tell you, watch what happens when the Gaza deal goes bad. And I think it already did. I think it's supposed to go bad like really fast. And another thing that popped up on the news, did you guys know that he is remodeling the White House? Huh? Did you know what he's building a ballroom? Well, that's what he says. But you know what the plans look like?
Solomon's temple.
He is rebuilding the temple. He's coining his own currency. It's out there. It says in Trump, do we trust or something? It's ridiculous. And it's not in a Monopoly game either. I'm being serious. It's like real. So, I mean, he's got I think he's going to do like his own cryptocurrency or something. Who knows? I mean, if a drug dealer in Austin can do Bitcoin, I mean, he can certainly go do in Donald Trump we trust. And that's how Bitcoin got started, for those of you all that don't know that.
You know what I find interesting, Tim, is, in the last days, these trumpets are supposed to be blown, and we have a president named Trump.
Well, there's a lot more to that than that. You know what his mother's name is? Huh? Mary Christ Trump.
Uh-uh.
So, man, talk about taking the, because back in the day, if you said anything with Christ in it, that was vain. That was like you were done, right? Can you imagine in his house, every time the TV came on, I bet you somebody got whacked on the Tonight Show. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, that didn't happen. I'm just kidding. That was for entertainment purposes only. I was just kidding. But no, I'm serious though. He's doing a lot of stuff right now. And the word MAGA is actually a rank. He's a MAGA, and to be the MAGA, I'm gonna get in trouble. Is is the highest ranking Mason you can be. So it's not an acronym, guys. It's a real title. But do you see that Donald Trump doesn't need a name tag? He doesn't. And you know what? None of you guys out there either need them either. If you want to be private, learn what privacy is. The problem that we have is that we have so much public information on us that's out there. And that includes our finances. That includes everything, that everybody can see how you're built. Tori, welcome to the call. One of the things that they do in courtrooms, do you know this? They handicap you like a horse. They do. They look in there, and those of you guys that take my travel classes, stuff I talk about, but like even the officer will ask you, have you ever been arrested before? I mean, he's doing that just to get in your head, but he's trying to offset your deal there. It's just a head game. But what he's really doing is he's trying to see how vulnerable you are. He's trying to handicap you. Because if you've been to jail before, then all he has to do is say freeze, and you're going to know the position and everything. He doesn't have to school you, do nothing. It's true. And so that's what they're doing. So in courtrooms, they do the very same thing, but they go much, 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 much deeper than where they go. So the cops get to look at like cop filings, your MDR, your background, stuff like that, right? But the courts, they get to go much, much deeper. They get to look at your family. They're going to know how much money you make. They're going to know if you're a registered voter or not. They're going to know all that stuff about you. They're going to know if you're a property owner. And ding, 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 if you're a property owner. Because if you're facing a non-property owner, he's in trouble. You could be wrong, and he's still in trouble. Seriously. Why? Because you're the one that's cutting the grass at 6918 Northridge. That's why. And you're the one that's keeping the roof on the house at 6918 Northridge. And you're the one that's following the city code like you're supposed to. And you're paying your taxes. That's big kudos. So that right there is one of the things that they do. Those of you guys that are in divorce court, family court, they know this. So whoever's family has the assets, and believe me, they know. Isn't it funny how it always kind of goes that way? I mean, really, how many Section 8 people that live on Section 8, okay, have a story to say, you know what? I fought CPS and I got all my kids back. Look, here they are, 25 of them done. Or even 5, 2, 3, 1. Where's that story? There isn't one. There isn't one. And it's because we have a system that would rather get paid than deliver public service to the public. This is a problem. So those of you guys that are in those sorts of things, if you need help, schedule an appointment with me. I'd love to meet with you. I'd love to help you. It's completely free. No, it's not legal advice. It's personal experience. I have 30 years of personal experience. At age 19, I had an appeal filed, and you can look it up. I had an appeal filed in the United States Supreme Court, Washington, D.C. Me, this guy. Do you know why? Because those people in school, in government class, lied to me. And they said that all this and this and this is in place, and justice is absolute because of this wonderful system. Right, Trisha? Remember that in school? Well, I'm here to tell you it's not true. None of it is. I'm here to tell you that a law enforcement officer can make up a complete plan. And as long as you get an email, you get to go to jail, and he doesn't. Why? Funding. See, if they can create a crime, then they can create an ability to insure it. This is what we talked about last week. This is what they're doing. So when I say operating in the private, I'm meaning when these turkeys look you up, they don't see nothing. You're not a voter. You don't own anything. You don't have anything. And I grew up in a well-to-do neighborhood. And they look at that stuff, you see. So once you take yourself out of the public like that properly, then all they see is a silhouette of your legal fiction or your straw man or whatever the heck you want to call it. That's all they see. And quite frankly, under the Fourth Amendment, that's all they should see. Would you agree, Natasha? Shawn, what do y'all think? I mean, does your stuff need to be out there? You know? And it is.
Yeah, well, that kind of reminds me of whenever, like, you get in an accident, they pull up, oh, we're going to sue you because you have a house, you have this, your money in your bank account. So if they don't see that, then you're not worth suing. I want to be that person that I have absolutely nothing underneath me, and that way they can't see anything. And I want to be that person that walks in Walmart, they don't know who I am, or anything like that. So
That's the way to be. That's the way
that's
to
the way
be.
to be. And you don't know nothing about me, and you don't need to. So,
I'm serious. Don't even check my groceries, right? Nothing.
mm-mm.
And they don't do that here. I think it's not. Well, they don't do that here. I'm in Austin. I'm in Cedar Park, Austin area, and they don't do that here. I mean, of course, it's like little Beverly Hills here. They don't do that kind of stuff here. But, um, you know, it took waking up and running into all of these loose cannons. But some of you guys have gotten woke up and you're just off the reservation. And I think we're seeing that. I think we're seeing that with the state national movement. Because like I said, the state national movement is only about 6 years old. And you got one guy at the helm of that whole deal, and he's not a peaceful guy. He's just not. I mean, we had a physical altercation. This guy came to my house, assaulted me at my house. Just because of what we're doing here right now. Sent me messages telling me you better not post any more videos. And if you do, I'm coming over there. I told him to come on over and do whatever he thinks he's big enough to do. And 7 days later, this looked perfect. And he was probably getting some new teeth. Actually, it looks like he's had a little reconstructive stuff going up there. Must have been that little contact that he had at my front door. And see, don't mess with old people. Old people will tear you up. Young people, don't do it. And I'm telling you. But here's the reality is that this stuff can be really dangerous because it needs to be private. And a matter of fact, this is why I changed the way we're doing all of our classes now. My classes are one-on-one. Yes, it takes longer, and then that's why that one student that we had kind of got pushed back a little bit. It's because every class is one-on-one. I don't want to bring extra students into the class. I want our team and our support to be there for that one student. So that way they'll ask the right questions and that we can get them to where they need to be. That's the point of all this. And some people ask me, have I figured it out? Look at my fruits. Look at my fruits. It's clear. I've foreclosed on my lenders, took my cars from the lenders. I've beat numerous court cases from sitting right here at my desk. I didn't even show up. Matter of fact, what's today? Monday. I was supposed to be in court this morning. No kidding. I swear I was. I was supposed to be in court this morning. But I handled it. I know. Now I'm going to tell you how I handled it. How did I handle it? Well, I filed a federal lawsuit against those cuckoo birds. And I've got a mandamus filed against him too for ignoring 22 motions that I filed. You can't do that. That's a due process violation. So 247 pages later, we filed that in the United States Western District Court. Those of you guys that are in family court right now, okay? If they got you doing this, running you around and around and around and around, and your rights are being violated, get with me, okay? Those of you guys that are dads, don't sit at home and watch videos and miss your kids. And don't cry. Don't make it worse. I'm serious. I know, because I did all that stuff myself. I got 3 kids I don't see ever for no reason. And this can happen to anybody. All it takes is these people wanting to make some money. So those of you guys that are out there, if you guys need help, call my office, 210-605-0144. 210-605-0144. It's completely free. We're open to the public, and we're here to serve the public. And if you guys are going through stuff, believe me, I've been through the fire and back. I've got 2 federal cases filed right now in federal court, 2 of them. And no lawyers. Matter of fact, I'm suing the lawyers. Yeah. And we're winning. We got fruits on this tree. We're doing this. Not a bunch of fruit cakes, not a bunch of name tags. We got real results, real solutions. But this is a private process, okay? It's not as sneaky like, oh, I only talk to 4 people. You don't talk to people like that. Just get away from them, okay? If they can't explain their process to you in 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 4 minutes at all, is what I'm saying. If they can't explain it to you so that it makes sense to you from here to the finish line, don't do it. Because if he can't explain it to you, if she can't explain it to you, they certainly can't teach it to you. That's a fact. And anyway, I was just going to take some questions. If you guys have questions out there, welcome to the call, everybody. So glad you guys are here. Thank you guys for joining. Linda, welcome you guys. Welcome, Mike. Glad you're here, buddy. Love all the great stuff you always post on Facebook. Thank you so much for what you're doing. And I know that there's some real heartbreak going on in courts, in these family courts. And I want to address that. The folks that are out there, a lot of folks that are tuning in my page right now, you guys are dealing with family courts. You know what? There's a way out. But here's what you need to learn. It's not about law. It's not about law. Like, it's maybe that much about law. But what's it really about? Natasha, what's it really about? What is it? What are all these court cases really all about? Besides funding, we know they're going to fund. But I mean, besides that, what's the matrix? How are these guys operating?
From what I understand, most of it's about the money, but it's also about breaking up the families and stuff instead of being united.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and that's an intent. I mean, they're doing that because of money, but what's the component that they're using that is so out there that people aren't understanding. This is a jurisdiction that nobody talks about. Okay. And I mean, there's little cracks and pieces of it here and there, and it's called equity. That's how these courts operate. Okay. There's a lot of people in the movement that talk about bonds and things like that. Let's talk about bonds. Let's put it out there. Big boy nuggets tonight. Let's talk about some bonds. How does that work? Well, I got the bonds for Houston County, Texas sitting right here behind me in a notebook. I got them all. So now that I got all these bonds, somebody call Chris Hauser and ask him what I need to do. Somebody call Derek Gonzalez. Call that pickle guy, or call somebody. What do we do? How do we deal with this? See, this is what they're not telling you. And how do these bonds really work? They talk about what are the bonds? You're building a house right now. It's the same thing. It's a construction bond. So you get a appearance bond, show up to court. First, you get a presentment or a charge, right? And then you get, and it may come with this too, with your charge, an appearance. And once that happens and you accept that appearance and you show up, Shawn, what just happened?
Somebody got paid.
That's right. Based on your performance. Dun, dun, dun. And you didn't even have to sing, dance, nothing. All you had to do was show up and be brown, some of y'all. True. You don't believe me? Go walk into ticket court. Tell me how many white people you see in there that don't work there. Go down to the Harris County. They had to put 100-watt bulbs in there. The room was so dark. That's a fact. They started losing people in the back over there. It was so, because that's just what it is. It's true. And it's because, like I said before, they're looking at your demographic. They're looking at if you're going to fall for this or not. And this is an equity game. This is an equity game that says they're going to make a presentment or a charge. Then you're going to perform because you're going to show up. And then think about it. You guys show up to court and they ask you to put in a plea like an animal about to get released, like the scapegoat. Get out. You know what I mean? Seriously, they're going to tell you to make a plea for your life or your wallet, something, right? Depending on where you're at. Dang it. Dang it. I'm right. I'm pulling some strings tonight, aren't I? Just woohoo. And it's true. But that's what they're doing. And that process right there got them paid. When you're building a house, you do the same thing. You set up bonds, right, Natasha?
They do.
Tell us about the bond process on these things. Tell us how that works. Because she's building a house
So-
right now.
Yeah, from what I understand, and that's what they do is they go and they buy the bonds, and every time that I make a mortgage payment, that interest is in there, and then that interest actually goes to everybody, and they get paid monthly, from what I understand.
Not exactly.
Not
That's
exactly.
well, kind of, sort of. There's okay. So, like on the insurance side, they get paid like that because that's kind of like a renewal because it's reenacting it. It's coming back. But that wasn't quite where I was going with that. It's good though, but it wasn't quite where I was going with that. Well, all right, let's back that up and start over. Just kidding. Anyway, no, that wasn't quite where I was going with that. But what I'm saying is that people, when you're building a house, the first thing that you have to have is you have to have a plan. Okay, you got to have an architect, and you got to have a plan, and then the plan has to be approved. So now the county, the township, you pull your permits, you pay everybody off because that's really what that means. You know, because go try to get a plan approved without paying them off and see what happens. There'll be no basketball hoop for you today. What's that?
I thought it was all private property.
Well, it is private property until you figure out who owns the property. And it's not you. We don't own property here. I've heard people say that. Oh, it's a terrible thing in Israel. Those people don't even own their property. They have to lease it. Well, I say it's even worse here because people don't own their property, but yet they think they do. And they're still leasing it. Dang it. I mean, at least they're honest. At least they're telling him this is all Yahweh's property. You'll never own it. But you can lease this little right here. That's how they roll. But it's the difference between truth and honesty. So what we're seeing in our system is that people don't understand what's going on. People, they talk about the discharging of the debt and things like that. That's a very small paragraph. No, it's like a small sentence, really, in a situation that's really like this big. And there is no direct path that says you go through here, 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 and that's where you'll be. But can I explain it to you? Can I explain it to your tax professional? And I have multiple. And nobody has hung up on the phone and said, oh, that guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Nobody said that. They just kind of go, oh, why? Because I understand what's going on. I understand more than what's going on than what they know what's going on. Because they're stuck in a little compartment like an ice tray. And me, I'm the guy holding the ice tray. That's where you need to be in this process. See, once you start doing that and you start realizing that we handed over all this power You ready how we did it? You ready to hear how we did it? Filling out applications. We handed over all of our power and consent in this country every time we fill out an application. What does that mean? Well, an application means to beg. People don't know that, but they're doing it every day. Hey, go stand in line and beg over there. You don't have to. You don't have to fill out an application for a new car. Yeah. You could go join the honeypot tour and probably get a new car in like 3 weeks with all the stuff they're doing. Or look at the David Straight movement. Remember when he was up and around? That guy was killing it. That guy was deceiving people openly and making $20,000 to $40,000, $50,000 a month. Selling people little pieces of property like this big. Look, you're a Texian now. Yay! Hold on, I have a button for that. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, yeah, they did that little thing. I mean, do we really need a button? Do we need the name tag? Or can we just operate and know this stuff? See, I think that's where it just kind of fell apart with our grandparents. I do. And I think that we went through a serious reset, a very serious reset during Y2K. Very serious. Lots of things changed. Don't believe me? Go watch an episode of Chips. I said that yesterday in the thing. I'm serious. Dude, you will laugh at those cops. You'll be like, shut up, man. Cops don't do that. And Ponch is all, and you watch like the whole show and he didn't have to shoot anybody. You ever notice that? You could watch like they didn't have to. And they solved problems without cell phones and shooting people. This is two things we don't know how to do today. This shows that we're in another matrix. Something changed. Don't you think, Natasha? Something changed.
Yeah.
Jiffy peanut butter went away. There's no more Jiffy peanut butter. It's all Jif. And then the what's his name? The Monopoly guy, he lost his monocle. He can't see anymore. He doesn't have it anymore. They took it away. Go look in your games. It used to have it, you remember? See, they did a reset. And they flipped this whole, and they shook it like this and put it back down again. That's exactly what they did. But the only way that you would see that is if you were operating on both sides of the counter. People don't understand that. The neighborhood that I grew up in, lots of people operated in the private, lots of them. And I had the pleasure of studying every one of them. I used to work at their houses. I grew up in kind of a well-to-do neighborhood. So kids didn't go out and make money unless they were staging something or, oh, we're going to go sell some candy for the school. I mean, unless it's something like that. Kids weren't ambitious in doing stuff like that in my neighborhood. Me, I was. Every Saturday, I was down 2 miles at the car wash, 410 and Broadway, and I was drying people's cars as they were coming out of the wash. I was making $100 a day doing this. I was 13. While everybody was sleeping at the wheel watching cartoons. That's what I was doing. And I took advantage of that because I understood what was going on. I understood the culture of what's going on. If we can understand the culture of what's going on, public and private is very attainable. Understanding public and private is attainable. It can be done. But you have to understand it. And it's not for everybody. It's not. Some people, I'll just want to keep my life simple and we're going to have it this way. Well, it's not simple. There's nothing simple about today's life anymore. Nothing. Seriously, go throw it. If you think it is, if you think it's true, go throw your phone in the trash and leave it there for a month. See what happens. They'll come repo your car. Your insurance will lapse. Your kids will forget you because you won't answer their texts anymore. Think of all the things. And then just think if somebody just decided they were going to disconnect all of our phones. I hear that day is coming. What's going to happen? Well, we're going to find out what this country's made of. And we're going to find out what these people are made of. And I'm here to tell you, this country and all of its wealth is going to be handed over to 3% of the population. That's a fact. And you have a choice. You can be part of that 3% where everything makes sense, or you can go put your head back in the ground and stay in it. Just put it back in the ground and stay there. Go watch TV. Go watch cartoons. Go watch The Simpsons. Seriously, what do you think? Right, Natasha? I mean, could you go back at this point?
No, I can't because my mind just always continues to go forward. I couldn't. I've seen the light.
It's same, and more than that, I've seen it work.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It was, the first time when I foreclosed on my lender and I took a car from him, the first time I did that. Oh, I was so scared. Oh man, my insides were rattling like this. I mean, I could hear it. It was rattling so hard. But I knew my truth and I knew what was going on and I knew what I did and I knew what my training taught me. And rather than falling for the witchcraft, I walked that line and I walked right through that fire and walked right out on the other side with my car keys in my hand. Bet more than once. Why? Because there's rules of banking, but they don't teach us that stuff in school, do they?
No, they teach us to hold our hand up and not ask questions and be very obedient.
And shut up. I heard that a
Shut
lot.
up.
I know.
Yeah.
I thought my name was Shut Up for a while there. I'm serious. I heard Shut Up so much, and I thought Be Quiet was like my middle name. I thought there should have been a hyphen in there or something. Be quiet. You know what I mean? That's what I thought. I'm telling you. Richard Pryor did a stand up about that too. Of course, he used some other words, but I mean the principle is the same. And we've been indoctrinated, and that's something we need to come to terms with. We need to come to terms with everybody lied to you. And here's the one person that didn't lie to you. The only one. Our creator. And I give all credit to him. Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to see the things that I see. I wouldn't be able to tell you and report back to you what I've done. And no way I could have gone in and filed 246 pages for a federal case. 10 years ago, I couldn't have done that. I didn't have the aptitude to do it. But today's a different day. And that's what this walk is really all about. This walk is about detaching from all those applications and all those systems and start managing your own stuff. Because once you start doing that, and it is a job, those of you guys that are soccer moms out there or moms in general, and you're running your kids all over the place, right, Natasha? And you're running your kids all over the place. That's a job, man. And if you're making sure that the report cards are signed, the lunches are paid, and then the pictures get paid for and all that other stuff, man, it's a lot of work. And then to put it on top, moms get it even worse. Then they have to clean up vomit like that. And they do it with a smile. They do. In spite of my mom's imperfections, that's the one thing she did. She put up with my nonsense. And when I wasn't feeling good, she didn't go, "Ooh, I'm not touching that." Because I would have said that. But she didn't do that. She loved me. We got to walk, this private walk, the same way with the same directives. And if we do this, we're going to have success. If you continue to lean on these people in government, if you continue to lean on our educators, if you continue to listen to them, there's a scripture that goes with that. And it says, there's a way that seems right unto men, and the end thereof is death. That's real death. And not a physical death necessarily, but a spiritual death inside. Something changes inside you. Begin to harden your heart. You see these movies where these people celebrate, "Oh, well, I have to be hard now because of all the things I've done." That's victim mentality. That's not going to help you at all. And that's not going to get you private. Most of the people that are in this movement there's two kinds of people. The people that are pure in heart and that are searching for absolute truth. Okay. That's the number one group. And that's my group. This is this group right here. And then the other group is the one that wants to get away with something. The one that doesn't want to pay bills anymore. They don't want insurance anymore. We don't want a license plate anymore. We don't want a driver's license anymore. We want to go live out there with Michael Landon on Home on the, what is it? Little House on the Prairie. Yeah, that's what we want to go do. And I mean, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. How's our country supposed to go ahead with that kind of thinking? This is why they're on the radar. This is why they're on the FBI radar. And I got to tell you guys, if you guys are part of any of this stuff, get away from it. This presidency right now, he's got zero tolerance for any kind of insurgent unless you're doing it for him. I mean, if you're doing it for him, he's great. But if you come up against him, let me tell you something. The dragon has already given him his power. And it's coming. Okay? He's doing things that no man has ever done in world history that we know of. And you know what? You need to know who's across the table from you. You need to know that you need to protect your assets. When we pass away, everybody sees what you have. Everything goes into probate, and people think that that's normal. People think that's okay. And it's not. It's not. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We've kind of come to the end of the call tonight, but you know, my intention in doing this and been doing this for 10 years now is to help people. There's a lot of people out there that don't particularly like me. And I heard a little something. And unfortunately, Natasha's name got thrown in the side of mine too today. And we're going to take care of that. But you know what? When you're doing a good thing, some people hate that. And that's okay. And you know what? I forgive them. I forgive every one of them. And if any of you guys ever need anything, remember first, we're all human beings here. Okay. We're not machines. We don't have operators standing by. Okay. We're just people first. And that's what you want. You want people first. Okay. The second thing we are is we're not lawyers. And God forbid we not be lawyers. Those people have learned how to spell cast and lie. These are the things that we're going to show you. And if you guys are interested in supporting this ministry, supporting what we do, go to my website, houseofyah.communityoutreach.com. Your donations are tax-free. We'd appreciate your support. And we thank all of you guys for being here tonight. Natasha, would you like to close us out tonight, please?
Yes, thank you for a very lovely call tonight. I learned a lot, and I hope that everybody else has, especially with the private and the public. Hopefully somebody can call in or learn anything. But I just want to thank everybody. Y'all have a great night and be blessed. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much for joining us. Good night, everybody. Good night. Fix that.